Welcome to the First Word Podcast, the sneaker show built by the community for the community. Hey man, it's not about resale, it's about the real, the people, the stories, and the culture behind what we wear. Your voice matters. If there's a topic you want to discuss, hit us up and be part of the conversation. This is your podcast too. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the First Word Podcast. I am your host, E. Reap, and today we're coming back with episode 7. So episode 6, I touched on the fake epidemic, and TikTok really took offense to that, which is crazy to me. But, hey, I put myself out there. I knew it was going to be a controversial topic, and, it is what it is. But if you haven't done so already, follow us on all socials at First Wear Pod. That's First Wear POD. Definitely tap in, because I'm definitely posting clips on, on TikTok, engagement, interacting with the comment section there and as well as Instagram. So yeah, First Word Pod everywhere that you do. So yeah, everywhere that you get your social content, go ahead and tap in with us. So hype fatigue is real. Are sneaker drops even exciting anymore? And that's a big topic, especially on Twitter over the past few months. Because it's kind of crazy where sneakers has evolved. It used to be a few releases a year. Now you're getting a few a day. You're definitely getting weekly drops. But I feel like there's something dropping daily. If it's not a restock, it's a new release. It might not be on a hype level, but there's a new shoe that you can purchase every day. If you tapped in with Soul Retriever, if you look at the calendar, pretty much every day there's a list of shoes dropping. A good 5 to 10 per day, it seems like. It's really crazy to me. But I'm just glad that, sneakers have evolved to what it is now. Definitely a very mainstream. The sneaker culture is growing daily. The community is growing daily. So, there's pros and cons with everything. People might say it's oversaturated, or you get people infiltrated it, culture vultures and stuff like that. But hey, if it sheds a positive light on the sneaker community and the sneaker game itself, I'm all for it. Sneakers are definitely becoming more accepted socially, as well, so you can wear kicks pretty much in every occasion now. Nobody's gonna look at you crazy or turn you away if it's a dress code type thing. So I think it's cool personally. But that's not what this episode is about. So yeah, when did it stop feeling special? I want to say, for me personally, but I definitely want y'all to drop your opinions on, when you think the shift was. But I think, the social media era, the internet era definitely changed drop days, because, you can get stuff super early. I think I touched on that in episode 5, I want to say. But you can get stuff super early. So it's the release date could be September 14th. And you can get the shoe in hand in June. So it's the release dates don't really matter. I remember they had you get a nice rollout, the marketing rollout. You would get the athlete who she would belong to, the signature athlete, or you get a celebrity to endorse it, or a combination of both. And that's the first time that you would see the shoe was on their foot, or in the commercial, or in the ad. And then you'll start seeing billboards or certain activations, kind of like what they did with the recent band, High 85 joints. That felt like a classic release. They had the seated pairs, of course, to the, whoever they felt were the biggest influencers. So you see them first on celebrities, you see them at courtside at games, or on the red carpet or whatever, wherever they can, generate the most buzz. So you'll see that, and then the stores that actually had them, or they released them, they had a crazy activation. So I know Mike Rich, a shout out to Mike Rich, he got his from Soul Play down in Atlanta. And it was a full-on white glove joint. They changed the whole store. It was so crazy. and it was like a private room. I want to say when you actually got your pair. So the employees, they look like butlers. Like I said, tux, white gloves. They had like the serving trays. They brush your shoe. You can sit down on the couch, a nice leather couch. They handed it to you so you can try them on, check them out, whatever. Like it was very premium. Like the service, the experience looked premium. He recorded everything. I wasn't in the area that did all that, and if it did happen, I was not aware of it. And I want to say it was like an invitation type thing. I forgot, but it was a crazy like experience, and I feel like that rollout that made that shoe that more special. And at the end of the day, it's a bread one, so they were going to sell out regardless. But just giving that extra experience or like that extra touch definitely changed. How I felt about the shoe. Luckily, I did get them from like a random raffle that I forgot that I entered because I got the charge on my card one day, and I was like, "Yo, what is this?" Then I had to do my research. I was like, "Okay, wow, that is crazy. That was really like an overtime buzzer beater type joint." But yeah, so that was like that made it feel like the old days. I don't know, I'm sounding like an old head, but that made it feel like the old days with releases. Now, like I said, internet, you can get shoes whenever. It doesn't matter. The release dates mean nothing these days. So it's like it takes away from the overall feel or experience of the shoe to me personally. I mean, a shoe is a shoe. Like if you like the shoe, you're gonna get it regardless. But as far as, the excitement, to an extent is not the same. But like I said, in my opinion. Especially, getting them in store, like on release day, being able to, use your connections or doing the groundwork to go to certain stores that most people probably wouldn't, or, like Cream is a local boutique. You get it with them here and there. There were two instances where I was able to come up on a shoe because they released it like at a weird time. Like the Fear God ones, the oatmeal colorway. I remember randomly getting off work early. I want to say we got off at noon. Like it was a short job. So I'm getting off noon. I think I'm heading back to the parking lot. And Cream posted, they said the Fear God one's in store now. And I was like, yo, and I was working in the same city at the time, so it worked. It was like destined. It felt like destiny. So I had the Cream. Boom. It was a little line, but it's noon, so it's like most people are at work or getting off their lunch break, depending on what it is. So it wasn't like a time where everybody was able to pull up. So I was luckily enough, I was able to cop that shoe, and also the KD for All Stars. I had to get a 13, which a 12 would have been ideal, but it is what it is. I couldn't try them on, whatever. But yeah, it was so that felt like a hunt, kind of, sort of. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was waiting on that particular shoe. I was like clocking IG all day until they posted it, said boom in the store, and luckily, pretty close to them, so I was able to pull up, boom. But yeah, it's like you don't really get that too often now because with the raffles and online and then the early pairs and everything. I don't know. Like I said, the shoe game is the shoe game. Like if you like the shoe, it's still going to be special to an extent, but it's not like being able to like search for it and then walk to the store and buy them. That gratification you get purchasing in store. This is like you don't even. Yo, if you made it this far, man, make sure you're following First Word Podcast on all your socials. Drop a rating. Share the pod with somebody who loves kicks, man. That's how we keep the culture moving. All right, back to the action. It's hard to build the anticipation because you find out about shoes so far in advance now. It's like after a while, you either forget about them to like a certain extent. Like if you want the shoe, it's going to come out at a certain time. But it's like when you know about stuff a year in advance, after a while, it's like, okay, I've been seeing this shoe for months now. It's like, all right, are they gonna drop them or what? It's not like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, man. Hopefully, it's making sense to you guys because like I don't even know if I'm making sense to myself right now. But it's like if you know something is coming out 12 months from now, this time next year, and you do want the shoe, right? Or there's part of you that like it might not be like a must cop, but it's like, oh dang, okay, they're dropping. I haven't seen them in 20 years. I'm interested in those. By January, you're not even thinking about them joints. February, for sure, you're like, all right, what's dropping right now? And then you'll get that reminder. You're like, oh, dang, I forgot about those. But now I was like, I don't know if I want them as much as I did initially. And I feel like that hurts the brand, to a certain extent. I feel like a good 3 to 6 months is like plenty of time to build the hype and, showcase a shoe that's about to drop. Because knowing what's coming out next Christmas is crazy to me. Like, I know we live in the society of the social media era where everybody wants to be first. So that's why early pairs are going crazy. You have accounts posting information as soon as they get it, not even doing their research to see if it's true or not. They just want to be the first people to drop the news. Kind of like, like TMZ. TMZ is changing the game. It's crossed over the shoes now. Every person wants to be the first one to either show the shoes, drop the information, make the mock up. And I hate mock up culture. Like I really despise it. Because you're building hype on a colorway or an image of a shoe that is not even official. It probably not even in production yet. You're just going off the color description. And it's like, okay, you post a junk like, hey, these are rumored to drop. This is the colorway or the color description. This is what they could look like. So you got a shoe that, you hyping it up for months. And as soon as the official images drop, it's a totally different shoe. Now, that can work one or two ways. I've seen it firsthand. The mock-up could be better than the actual shoe that released. So now that hype that was like surrounding that shoe, you lost it. Because the mock-up, like, it ruined it for for the actual rollout. Or it does the opposite where the actual shoe is 10 times better than that initial mock-up that a random page or, Z Sneakerhead, they're the king, or he's the king of the mock-up game. I think he's done a better job with, kind of putting that disclaimer out there like, hey, they may or may not look like this. This is what I think personally. And he's starting to get a little better. Sometimes it's been way off. Like the Mocha ones were way off, but yeah, it's just like that culture right there, man. It's like it's never going to. I don't think it's going to change because you're getting engagement, you're getting the traction that you want, and we're feeding right into it. So getting paid for posting, that's what's going to happen. Like, people are going to do what they have to do to boost that engagement, and I understand you got to do what you got to do to get your bread. But it's like it's watering down the releases to me personally. Like I said, it's just so much information at once. It's rare that you get like real shock drops. Like you'll get a shock drop and you know about it at least 2 days before. Like a shock drop used to be at a random day at a random time. Somebody's gonna post a link like, "Oh, these are live right now." Your people are prepared for a shock drop, so it's no longer a shock drop. It's just like an early release type thing now. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel with these releases as well. You don't really get to walk in the store and see something on the shelf frequently. There are times where you can, walk into certain stores and you'll see something like, oh, dang, I ain't know these dropped. I think the last shoe that surprised me to see, like, to actually see it in the store were the new Love Ones. Because I don't believe that they had a release day at first, and then I seen them in the shipment, or I seen them on the counter or whatever. I was like, oh, dang, these are coming back out? Like, I didn't even know. And, I'm tapped in with shoes, so, for me to be surprised, that's pretty impressive in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, I didn't know these were dropping again. I was like, okay, bet. So that was like the last shoe that I can remember. And that's a recent pickup for real, like a recent release. But before that, everything like a half a year to a year in advance now. It's just like, I don't know. The leak culture is just crazy. And I see that Nike's trying to combat that, which is, I applaud them for seeing that, it's becoming an issue, and they're definitely trying to crack down on the early leaks, because you can't even like build or roll out the product the way you want to. Like, a lot of stories or storytelling goes behind these releases, and like the early leak culture, it ruins it, because instead of building that actual story piece by piece, and then you end it with the actual reveal of the shoe, or if you have like a whole marketing plan that you set up for like 2 or 3 months or whatever the rollout is, however it's supposed to last, or however you figured it out. You got some random, you got some random page posting a blurry picture, and now they just took all the buzz away. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm the only one that doesn't care for the leak culture, early culture. Just take me back to put the shoe out on the shelf, man. Walk in the store, boom, new release. I mean, the raffle, I get it, safety, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. For the actual release of the shoe, you stick to the raffle or whatever you got to do. But like the introduction of the shoe, I want to see it on the court. I want to see it from the brand officially unveiling what's dropping. I don't want to keep seeing it online a year in advance. That's just me. Let me know what y'all think about it. Like I said, it just waters down the releases, and then it is so many shoes dropping. Like, it's kind of like, on to the next one, man. Even if usually, well, I mean, not usually, but a few years back, it would be a certain release that you've been waiting for, like probably for the whole month, and it's dropping at the end of the month, and that's like the release of that month. Like, is that one main release, and if you don't get that release, you might have a consolation prize in mind. But if not, it's like you're going to keep trying to get that shoe until something else drops. Now, so many shoes are releasing, and it's like, okay, if I don't get this, something else is dropping tomorrow, or something else is dropping next week, or there's going to be a restock down the line. So it's kind of like, I don't know, man. The feeling is different. I know for me personally, like I said, I'm just speaking on my personal opinion, my experience with sneakers. Certain shoes still give me that feeling if I can cop them, but like for the most part, they're just another shoe in the collection, man. Unless it means something to me, like a emotional attachment or something like that, like a grail. It's like, all right, cool. Like today, as I'm recording right now, Saturday, August 2nd. I don't want to jinx it, but right before I started recording this episode, shout out to Soul Retriever, I got a link, followed the link, had a few trial and errors, but I think I was able to successfully check out, and hopefully that shoe will be coming pretty soon to the crib. But you know what dropped today? You had the steel tens as well as the undefeated fours, and that particular shoe, the steel tens, was one that made me feel like, dang, I'm missing out. Like usually the past few Jordan releases, like the past year or two, maybe 3 years, it's like a handful of Jordans that I could say like, dang, I missed out on, and that was one of them. I tried to cop this morning, unsuccessful, of course. Then I felt like, dang, I missed out. Like I really wanted this shoe, and I guess it just like I said, it depends, man. So many shoes coming out, and it's hard. Well, it's like few and far in between now to get that feeling or recreate that feeling for me. Like I said, so this was one of those shoes that brought that feeling back for me. And I feel like the way the sneaker game is now, you don't get that like you used to. It's just, I don't know, it's just too much dropping in a short window, man. Just spread them out again, you know what I'm saying? Like the Retro 11s, they used to be a special release. They were coming out Christmas. Now, you're getting random 11 drops throughout the year, mostly the lows and like the IEs. I think they saved the highs for like holiday time. But even during the holiday, you might get 3 or 4 Retro 11 releases when it used to just be that one. And I get it because that would definitely make or break Christmas for a lot of people. I've seen it firsthand working in retail when those 11s drop and you can't secure a pair. It's rough. Like the parents, well, this is all they wanted for, it's all they wanted for Christmas was a pair of these 11s. And it's like, you don't get them, it ruins everything. So, like, I understand why they like dropping more from that standpoint. But, just like the feeling of the Jordan 11, which was held to a high standard at one point. Now, you get a pair of 11s easy. Like, it was 100 colorways now. So, it's not the same. I don't know, maybe it's just me being in the sneakers for so long. It's just like, I'm not gonna say it's like a burnout because like I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. Slowing down for sure. Like I think this year, like I stated in the past, I'm not copping like I used to. I'm definitely picking and choosing a little bit more. And of course, my picking and choosing is like different for like the average person. So just because I'm picking and choosing, it still feels like I'm buying shoes 100 miles an hour. But yeah, it's like, after a while, it is like, it's just a shoe. You know, I can't wear them like I want to. I'm starting to, shout out to the podcast. This is making me like get into wearing them more, making more of an effort to wear new shoes for sure. Like first wear, trying to really lean into that name. So I'm undsing a lot more than I have been recently, which is good for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just helping me, put my feet in these joints. But it's like, once you get to a certain amount or like a certain level, then it's like you're really starting to see everything like circle back. And I feel like they're recycling the same colorways when there are like plenty of shoes in the archive for Jordan to re-release. Like, you get the Breads again, the Black Toes again, the Cement 4s, the white and black, the white Cement 3s, black Cement 3s. What else? Keeps all the 11s. I think, after a while, I feel like a good 10 years. If a shoe hasn't dropped in 10, I think every 10 years you should drop the same. Like, you should recycle the shoe. But you got plenty of shoes that I don't think have released in a good minute, man. The Olympic 7s, 2012, that was the last time we got the Olympic 7s. And that's my favorite shoe of all time. So I will be doubling up if they ever release. Well, I'm going to try to double up anyway. The Ginger 16s, I don't think they've had a retro. The Cherrywood 16s. I think we just got the 18s not too long ago. 19s, 20, 21. Drop the 21s, 22s. Let me get a pair of the 2009s, the silver joints. What else haven't they dropped in a while? I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I feel like there are plenty in the vault that probably either never got a retro or only received one retro. So Jordan Brand, just switch it up a little bit. I understand you got to do what you got to do for business. Certain colorways are going to sell every time, and I get it. The classic colorways, the OG colorways are definitely going to sell. They might not sell as fast, but people are going to buy them just because it's the OG. And, you get new sneakerheads daily that probably don't have them. They want to start their collection. They see this, that, whatever. The OG is a good place to start. I get it, for sure. But just, switch it up a little bit. What else? Let me see. I don't know. For this topic, I really want to hear what y'all have to say about it. So tap in on social media for sure. TikTok, IG, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. First Word Pod. I will be dropping clips. But I think this is a good community joint, man. I might go live after I drop this episode, sometime during the week. Like I said, tap in with me on TikTok so you can join the conversation or wherever you see this clip. Let me know if y'all want me to go live. That's the thing you'd be interested in. 'Cause I think this is a good, conversation topic. Instead of me just talking to you, being able to have that dialogue, especially for this particular topic, because it's really subjective. Like I have one way of viewing it, but you may think it's a different way of viewing it. Just it's probably better for a lot of shoes to drop at once or like in a short time frame because that drives resale prices down for real. Because if you only have one drop a month, then the reseller is gonna that's the hot shoe everybody wants it. So the prices supply and demand like naturally. But if you have 5 or 6 a month, some joints are gonna fall through the cracks as you see now when you're getting a lot of shoes sitting and going on sale faster than they ever have before. So hey, I understand it. I feel a certain way, but not to the extent where, I'm gonna crash out or nothing like that. We just talking, having a conversation. That's what sneakerheads do. That's what the community is all about. Dialogue, conversation, little back and forth. Never hurt anybody. So let me see. Social hour. What are we gonna do for social hour? Okay, let's boom. The last sneaker that you were hype about. Like the last drop that you were anticipating or you were hype about. For me, the last drop, aside from, the Steel 10s, the Kobe 2, the Adidas Kobe 2, because like I said, that was one of my grails. And that shoe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember the last time that one dropped. And that was one of those shoes I never thought I would own. So when I found out they were releasing, I struck out on the initial release. I think that was like the charcoal or like a black color. I can't remember, but that silver joint, yeah, I had to get that. So I was excited to get that confirmation. I was excited to spend my money. I proudly gave that bread up real smooth, and yeah, I was hyped for that one. So yeah, let me know what hype the last drop that y'all were hyped about. I can't even talk. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this one, episode 7, man. Appreciate y'all for showing love. Honestly, I never imagined making it to episode 7. I think we were at like 63 downloads, 64, something like that. Like I still like I can't believe that 64 people actually are listening to me talk. Now, the clips on social media are definitely gaining more traction than the actual episodes on the streaming platforms, but it's all good, man. Slow motion is better than no motion. But like I said, I appreciate y'all, man. This is like one of those things where, I'm trying something different. I'm actually having fun. I kind of wanted to pivot from the YouTube like reviews and unboxings because, the the attention span on YouTube is, very short. So I try to keep those videos, I try to cut them, keep them under a certain time. And I feel like with this podcast, I can be long-winded on certain topics that I feel passionate about or, that needs more clarification or that deserves a longer discussion or whatever the case may be. So I'm using this platform to, for those type of videos or those types of topics and everything. So like I said, I'm having fun with it. It's my outlet. Something different. And keep the creativity flowing. And I can really get my shit off if I need to, for lack of a better term. But yeah, man, buy what you like, wear what you love. This is the First Word Podcast. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but yesterday you said tomorrow. The time is now. That's the wrap on today's episode, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with the First Word Podcast. There's no culture without you. Don't forget to tap in with us every Tuesday, 8 a.m. for the audio, 6 p.m. Eastern for the video on YouTube. Catch y'all on the next one.